Greetings, folks, and welcome to another episode of Play Unplugged TV. I'm your host, Enrico Nardini, for www.playunplugged.com, and we've got another unboxing for you. Today, it is Wizards Dungeon fantasy board game set in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. This is a really exciting product in my mind. It's 1 to 8 players. It's a fantasy board game. It kind of reminds me a little bit, looking at it just on the surface, of like maybe a little Hero Questy, I don't know. But the thing that's exciting about it for me is ages 8+. This is a product where you can get young kids into D&D. On Play Unplugged, one of the things, our kids section, we're always looking for ways to introduce kids to hobby gaming. You know, if you're a parent and you're a gamer especially, and you're looking for a way to introduce your kids to Dungeons & Dragons, this might be the way. Obviously this is an unboxing and not a review, so I'm not sure if the rules are any good or anything like that, but as far as the presentation goes, really nice looking product. Interestingly, this product retails for $20, which is a very reasonable price for a board game. We'll take a look at the components inside, but this seems like the kind of product that they could throw on a shelf in Target, and maybe get some non-gamers interested with a really very evocative, exciting art on the cover. So I don't know what the business strategy was behind this. It definitely is Dungeons & Dragons related. You play characters, and so it seems really interesting. It seems like an interesting possible gateway drug to role playing, and that I could not be more of an advocate for as a now a new father. So anyway, let's crack this sucker open. All right, so contents, there's some stuff in here. Let's take a look. It looks like there are 3 decks of very small cards. Interesting. Small cards. 1 very thin rule book. Some dice. A sheet of different kinds of tokens. And a board. A large board. There we go. And a board. All right. Let's take a closer look, shall we? So, interesting, one thing that pops up in my mind right away is this game comes with 2 6-sided dice. And the reason I find that interesting is up until this point, D&D board games have been focused on that D20. We all associate the D20 with Dungeons & Dragons, but nope. 2 6-sided dice here. Okay. This counter sheet. We've got a bunch of tombstones, some numbers, some +1s, some hourglasses, and we've got some characters. It looks like some spellcasting types, some roguey types, some fightery types, and some clericy types. And so here, let me just grab this elven-looking wizard here. And so the way these seem to work are we pop this little piece out and we slide this. There's another piece. Gotta pop out both sides. There we go. We slide these together. Yeah. And there we go. There's our marker for moving around the board. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the board. Now, I have no problem with stand-ups, and if this game has a ton of characters and monsters and things, it just might not have been practical, especially at that price point, to have miniatures. But I will say some PC miniatures wouldn't be a bad idea in my mind over these standees. But, well, you know what? These spaces are kind of small too, so it might have been just necessary. So there's your standee. So, all right, we've got a great hall that says level 1, an armory that says level 3, a guard room. This is a really nice looking board. I love this. There's a sequence of play down here that kind of like walks you, kind of walks you through the play. There's some stuff for monster attacks, hero stuff for finding secret doors, safe levels, door and secret doors. There's like a whole key to like what's going on. So, boom, maybe you start in the Great Hall and then I guess you explore around. Interesting, it looks like there's a certain amount of gold you try to acquire to win, and it's different depending on the character. So wizards need to have a fairly significant amount of gold, 30,000, whereas, like, say, a rogue can get away with 10,000. You'd think with the rogue's predilections it would actually be the opposite. Oh well. Anyway, moving right along. This is the rules set. These are the rules and instructions. Interesting layout for these. They're kind of like pamphlet style. It's all one big sheet that's folded, which I kind of like, but at the same time, this is printed on that same kind of paper that the Dungeon Command stuff was printed on, and so it's just, you know, once again, you just got to be really careful with it because you could easily tear this or spill a drink on it and wreck it. So not as durable. Just make sure you take care of it. Though, I mean, you know, I don't know why you would do those things, but accidents happen. Anyway, it doesn't look like it's going to be overly complicated because they fit everything on effectively 8 sheets. And really, there's not really any rules on there, so 7. So there you go. That would be the rules and instructions. Lastly, stacks of very small cards, and let's see what these are all about. I'm going to try to gently, without damaging them. One thing I will say for cards that are packaged this way, I really wish they had a tab or something to pull. I don't want to cut or damage them. So, all right, I think I got it. Or not. Boy, this is riveting television, isn't it? Watching me try to cut this bag open. I know you're on the edge of your seats waiting for me to release these cards. Okay, finally. Got it. All right. Oh my good gravy. Well, these things are really tightly packed in there. That's probably a good thing. But all right, so these cards, once again, and it may be because of the price point, these cards are glossy and they're nice, but at the same time, they're a little thin. I could see these getting bent very easily, especially when they're handled by an 8-year-old. So you gotta, you know, make sure when you're giving the instructions for the game, make sure you're teaching your kids to respect the tokens, especially if these need to be random. You know, if you need to be drawing from them and not knowing what's there. So right in this particular set, we've got lots of different. Wow, this stuff's worth a lot of gold. A lot of different items. An ESP medallion, a magic sword. So tons and tons of items. These look like they might be spell effect markers, maybe? I don't know. These ones here, some kind of like power up type thing? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to read those rules. All right, so put these away. I don't know if this is like pertaining, all these have levels on them, so I don't know if that's pertaining to, like if you defeat a certain level of monster, you get to draw from this pile. I mean, that would make sense. This looks like what a monster will be. It looks like there's a bunch of stats there. And so I don't know what those stats mean yet. But it looks like there's a set of stats. We've got to see the Dracolich, one of my favorite monsters, actually. Love the Dracolich. What's scarier than a dragon? An undead dragon. An evil wizard, a red dragon. More gold. And items. Another magic sword. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go on a limb and say this last one is probably all monsters. There's so many items in those other ones, and plus those other special cards. So let's take a look. Once again, good gravy. I'll be ready for surgery after this. All right. I'll scrub up. Okay. Got some rats, some goblins, kobolds, another personal favorite, skeletons, ghouls, an evil rogue. Oh yeah, so yeah, these are all monsters that you could face, and so I assume they're broken up into levels, and yes, they are. Interesting. This looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting game to play. I can't wait to give it a try. All right, there you have it. Well, folks, that was Wizards of the Coast Dungeon. Please look for a review at www.playunplugged.com. Coming soon review. And make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and all those other good social media type stuff, because it really helps us, it really helps you, it helps us communicate with you. So just make sure you go do it. Thank you.